So I've kept goldfish before in the past, about a year and a half to 2 years ago now. Well, originally it was even longer than that, but the last one died like a year and a half ago. And to be honest, that really put me off actually keeping them. All four that I had 3 Ranchus and 1 Oranda. All of them died eventually from the same issue, which was swim bladder upside down, and eventually just passing away. Oh yeah, I should point out, they didn't all just like die straight away. It all happened over the course of like a year to a year and a half, one, and then 6 months later another one, you know, so it wasn't like they all just got wiped out from like bad water or something like that. Now, of course, it's quite easy for me to just say, oh, they have internal issues, they die, move on. But there's plenty of people out there that keeping them, growing them up big, and they're not experiencing problems. That suggests that I did something wrong, possibly. It might just have been incredibly bad luck. But over the past year, 3/4 of a year, I've been doing a lot of research on goldfish, fancy goldfish in particular, and I think I didn't do everything correctly. So the first thing I picked up on is that I don't think I had anything like a varied enough diet. I was feeding them goldfish pellets only and flake, which is pretty much like the same thing, but there's no sort of greens in there, if you like, which really do help with just flushing the body through. Also, I stopped using duckweed as like a treat food as well. Again, another really good food for pushing everything through. Pellets and flake are great, but we need to vary it up, especially because they have those smaller intestine bunched up more, so there's much more chance of like air getting trapped in there and constipation and things like that. You know, I tried the whole methods before of using pea shells, but by the time that was too late at that point, the damage was already done. But this time I'm going to make sure we go bloodworms, again, good for flushing everything through, duckweed, pellets and flakes, so a complete variation, and I think we'll be onto a much more successful time with them. Now you can see here I've got an empty tank. This is 2 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot, so it's not big, and to be honest, it's not really the right size for adult goldfish at all. But in the shop at the moment, they've got some little diddy ones. They're like this big. This is going to be a perfect little grow out tank. I can actually get some good feeding. I can monitor them really well, and also I can do a nice simple scape that I can keep clean all the time, and it'll just be perfect for them. And I'm thinking of going for a really simplistic rock only with sand, like a real like minimalist look, but the fish should pop and look amazing and really cute and just so good. Also, the simplicity of the scape will mean it's easy for maintenance as well. Now, one of the reasons I stopped using duckweed, as you can see here, is that the fish were eating it all, and then after they were pooping it out, it was just sitting on the bottom of the tank, you know, like little green turds all over the bottom. Now, I was like thinking that's spoiling the scape and all of that sort of thing. So because I had like full plants in there, it did spoil the scape, so I stopped doing it. But that wasn't of benefit to the fish, I now realise. Back then I thought that duckweed was just a treat for them. I didn't realise that it had really good benefits for the digestive system as well, but it does. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna like make sure that I keep it minimalist, because that helps with the maintenance. I'm not adding plants because I want the focus to be on the fish, which, you know, like completely different from this scape here. Like this is full on, all about the whole ecosystem and everything that's in it. But if I'm going to try this with the goldfish, I'm going to try it properly. So I've got an awesome update for you on the end of the tank, because it's settled in amazingly well. I'm having such good success recently with the dirt that I've been using at the bottom of each tank. So obviously you can see down the bottom here, this tank is dirted. This absolute powerhouse of plants now is also dirted. This has got the lampies in, a rice fish, and it's also got the golden barbs in as well. Oh yeah, this tank's dirted as well. And as you can see, I've added my neons in that were in the other tank, the one that we're going to be putting the goldfish in. It was about time to change. I had it for so long. These guys love it in here. Again, another dirted tank. You can see at the bottom there, and look at the plants. Slight haze to it. That might be a little bit of an imbalance because we added more fish and it's just got a bit strange, but that'll balance out in the next few days. Water parameters are good though, so I'm not going to touch anything. But yes, so impressed with the dirt. I think it's going to be my new thing moving forwards for sure. Look at the reds coming through. Right, so we've got real budget lighting, but we're still getting that high pop of red. And I found that when I use pond compost, reds in the plants just really do come through. Not entirely sure why, maybe extra iron or something like that. But yeah, look, the Duckweed down there, that was already red, but it's going even more red at the top now. And again, the new tips on this Ludwigia grandulos, I think it is at the side here, really, really red as well. That's all the new growth coming through. And even the tops of the rotala, look, got a slight more pinkish haze to them. So impressed so far. Oh, it's looking brilliant. I can't wait for these guys to have some babies as well. I think what I'll do, because I want to start doing a lot more breeding with the live bearers, is when I see that a female is full and chunky and ready to pop with babies, I'll move that female into like a nursery tank, let her lay the babies in there, and then just take the adults out again, and then there's no chance of them getting predated on. I think my absolute favourite of all of them is just the sort of standard colour one. Look at him. I mean, don't get me wrong, the tigers as well, look. Oh, it's beautiful, but there's something about that sort of original colouring. It's not original shape though, because it's lyre-tail, but it's, I love that. Let me know what your favourite is. Is it that one? Is it the blue? Is it the koi here, who was also really, really good looking as well? Or maybe it's just the plain females. Let me know what's your favourite. And of course, what is good is that when these guys breed, there'll be genes in there that we're not even seeing at the moment. So we could get something completely like random pop up. That would be awesome. That's the real fun in it, really, isn't it? Just completely different colour to what you've got. Starting a whole new sort of genetic line. Oh, that'd be cool. So we've got some interesting looks going on in a couple of the tanks over in this corner. For a start, this one here on the surface looks really bad, doesn't it? It's got like a green water thing going on. Now, I did set this tank up in a way that was supposed to be no filter. It's not true no filter because it has got surface skimmer, but no like biological filtration apart from the substrate system. Now, I went with just aquasoil in this, and as a result, we've got really, really good growth from the glossostigma and the hair grass. We've got a full carpet going on everywhere. You can't really see it because of this weird sort of green water. It's more green than it's looking on camera, but yeah, I've never had green water before. I know it's a thing and that some people have. I've just never experienced it. The fish are doing great, and the Amano shrimp don't seem to mind either. There's quite a few in there, but yeah, it's an odd one. So I've seen on quite a few people's no-filter tanks before that they get green water, but it's not something I really get, so not sure about it. Anyway, I will be changing it soon. Reason being that on my other no-filter tanks now, I use the pond soil underneath aquasoil just for extra nutrients, and I think that would work so much better in this instance as well. For instance, the S. repens, look, really hasn't done well. I'm not entirely sure why. It looks like a lack of nutrients, if I'm honest, so that's where the pond soil would really come in, because the roots go down and find that pond soil through the aquasoil. And that's exactly what we can see here on this tank. Look down there, you see, so we've got aquasoil on the top and then there's pond soil underneath. The root system sort of sends out the runners in the aquasoil, but the roots themselves come down into the pond soil, and that's the same all the way across. So yeah, I think that's just a much better way of doing it. And to be honest, I'd also cap the top with sand as well, because in my opinion, tanks look better with sand. They just do. And then you can just put detailed stones and all your plants and stuff in the sand, and it grows just as well. Not a massive fan of seeing dark substrates. I don't know why, it's just not for me. So that's looking miles better overall, but I think what I'm going to do is just snip the bad S. repens off, like that horrible piece, and there's a bad one there. Just let them all come to the top and they can sort of regrow again a lot better. All of these ones at the back here look pretty naff, to be honest. I mean, you are supposed to trim these plants regularly anyway, so maybe I should have done this before now. The ones underneath are actually looking pretty decent, but it's almost like if the top bit grows, there's not enough nutrients for it. I mean, that actually looks 10 times healthier already, doesn't it? Make sure I don't pick up any fish. Not you, the last bit. There we go. Then add in some fertiliser as well. I use API Leaf Zone. And there we have it, another tank successfully back on track.